There's a reason why professional landscape photographers get excited when the forecast calls for bad weather, rain, sleet, snow, whatever it is. And in this video, I'm going to show you with real life examples why bad weather creates the most dramatic professional looking photos, the specific weather conditions that make the best photos, and how to accurately predict these conditions so that you can go and shoot them more often. Now, here's the thing that most landscape photographers, well, they just get wrong. They look out the window, they see grey clouds, they see rain, and they think to themselves, and I've been there before, right? They think to themselves, I can't be bothered with that. And honestly, I get it. Nobody wants to stand out there in the freezing cold, getting soaked for a rubbish grey sky photo. The problem with always shooting during the middle of the day, however, is that when it's kind of warm and you've got an open blue sky above you, that is going to hold you back. That is going to keep your photos looking amateurish. So let's take a look at why bad weather can make almost any landscape, no matter how boring it is in normal weather, how bad weather can take any landscape and turn it into a world-class scene to capture. Okay, so let's start with the light that you're shooting in, because it's probably the most important thing in any landscape photo. And on a blue sky day, the light is going to come in from roughly the same direction the whole time at a consistent intensity, and it's probably not doing much for the scene that you're shooting. It's going to feel flat, it's going to feel lifeless, it's going to be a bit boring, right? Now, consider a gappy, clouded day with some rainfall mixed in for good measure as well. Now you're shooting in uneven, dappled light, which creates a completely unique take on the landscape that you're shooting. You could go out and shoot 10 blue sky days in a row and you're going to get exactly the same shot every single time. Whereas if you're standing in the same place with some dynamic weather, you might get 10 completely different photos in just a few minutes. I mean, look at these two images. They're taken from literally the exact same spot, just in slightly different directions. And the difference between them, well, when I grabbed the image on the right, the storm clouds started to get heavier and the light started popping through and everything instantly became a little bit more epic. It was the same camera, same lens, the same location, more or less. The weather did all of the work here. Now, other than being on the edge of stormy weather, what other bad conditions can we use to make our landscape photos look that little bit more beautiful? Okay, so this image would not have worked without it being just a really miserable, wet, foggy day in the Yorkshire Dales. The fog in this photo gives it atmosphere, but importantly, it completely blocks off the mountain that is in the background of this shot. And it gives it a unique take on what is a really well shot, well trodden location. So again, if you only go out to shoot when it's nice outside, when the sun's out and you've got a blue sky, you are completely missing out on a whole bunch of different conditions that allow you to be really creative with your photography. And of all the professional landscape photographers that I hang around with, there is one thing that almost all of them, in fact probably every single one of them if I ask them directly, there is one thing that really separates a professional level photo from the average stuff that most amateurs produce, and that is uniqueness. So to create a professional level photo, you need some kind of uniqueness in your shot. Take this location in the Peak District, for example. These rocks are called the Kit Kat Stones, and again, they've been absolutely shot to death. Now, I shot them in snow, which I realise this might be subjective depending on where you live in the world. But in the UK, when there's even a tiny bit of snow, all hell breaks loose, everyone loses their minds, and most of the country slows down or completely stops if it's the railway service, right? So I consider snow bad weather and I love shooting in it. And this slight dusting of snow and the snowfall in the top corner of the frame of this photo make it unique, and it makes it way more interesting than the generic photo, the generic shot that's been taken in this location for years, if decades and decades, by amateur photographers every single weekend. All because I was willing to get out when it was a little bit chilly and also, admittedly, climb like a 6'3" hairless ape child on top of some icy rocks to get my tripod set up for the shot. So that is why bad weather works in landscape photography, and hopefully you'll be at least a little bit more excited next time you look out the window and things look a little bit grim after watching this video. But here is the thing, turning up in bad weather and hoping for a shot is still a crappy approach. What I do and what I teach my students to do is to accurately predict the conditions that you want and then plan specific shots around them. And I've actually developed a proprietary tool that's able to do this no matter where you are in the world in just a couple of clicks. So let's jump onto the computer and I'll show you how it's going to help you capture the best landscape images of your life. Right, we're on the computer. I'm going to now show you how to forecast bad weather, which is great weather for landscape photography. I'm going to show you how to do it in two different ways, the old way and then the new way. And the new way is going to break your brain. Every time I use it now, it completely transforms my shoots, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So the old way is, and this is using our tool called the Photography Explained Toolkit. The old way is, I'm going to Lake District, I'm going this weekend, and so let's use a very practical example here. One of my favorite places to shoot is Fleet with Pike. So I'm going to search for it. You see it's found here in the beautiful Lake District in the UK. I'm going to reduce our search area for just the peak of Fleetwood Pike, and you see there's tons of things to shoot up here. This pano is the classic shot, and it is a lovely place to shoot because you can park at Honister, you can walk for half an hour, and because you're parking basically at the top of the hill or near the top of the hill, it's a half an hour, relatively easy walk, and you are then shooting these beautiful vista shots. So this is the kind of shot that I'll be after, this kind of thing, looking down Buttermere off to the lakes in the background. So I'm going to save this location. You can see it's saved. I'm going to go to forecast, and this is where we do our traditional forecasting. So whether I'm using our toolkit or not, this is the kind of thing I'd do. I'd be zooming in and I'd be looking at the weather conditions of this location on the different days that I'm going to be in the lakes. So I'm going on Friday. I'm going to be there Saturday and Sunday. So Friday, the weather forecast thus far is looking a bit rubbish. Saturday, it's looking a bit fairer. So let's start here. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is looking at total cloud cover. And as you can see on our weather radar here, it looks pretty cloudy at sunrise. We'll cycle through the day, and maybe we've got more of an opportunity for a break in the clouds at sunset here. The other thing I'm going to take a look at is rain. And we'll start from sunrise. It's going to be a pretty rainy day. I think even sleety and snowy day from the look of this. Maybe a bit more of a gap again towards sunset. And the other thing that you can do with a lot of traditional apps is, if I turn the weather off, is to look at the sun path. So where's the sun coming? Where's it going? So this shot in particular, sure, you could shoot it at sunrise, but the sun's going to be behind you. And that can lead what you're shooting in front to look a little bit flat. So it's probably more of a sunset shot at this time of the year. So the sun is going to be coming from the side, giving beautiful side light going across the mountain ranges here. And this is basically all you could do in the old way of forecasting bad weather. This is basically all you could do. So this is telling me on Saturday, if we go down here at this time, as you can see this, as we scroll through, we get different times. We get the forecast coming up here, 50% chance of rain, quite a lot of wind, quite a lot of humidity. It's going to be relatively cold, and the cloud is going to be the issue here, I think. So that's the old way of doing things. The new way of doing things is a tool that we have developed at Photography Explained called Shotcast. So what we've just done is forecast a location at a specific time. What Shotcast does is forecast your specific shot at a specific time. So to set it up, I'm just going to click the button. I'm going to choose my subject. So let's choose Buttermere. And then I'm going to choose the place I'm shooting from, which is the top of Fleetwood Pike. And I'm going to click Generate Shotcast. Now, this is doing a whole bunch of different AI calculations. It's pulling a bunch of weather data from our own software here, and it's going to give us a forecast for that day for this specific shot. So standing at this specific point, shooting in this specific direction, from this specific altitude of all the other data points that we just covered. So here we can see this is pointing us down the classic spine towards Buttermere in the high style range. So this is the high style mountains. So the report has context as to what we're shooting. It knows the shot we're after, basically. So we're shooting towards Crummock Water, which is the lake behind. So it's telling us from 3 p.m. onwards, we're going to get a classic rim light in relation relative to our subject, because the light's going to be coming from the left-hand side here. This is going to catch the wet rock faces of haystacks, which is down here. So we're going to catch haystacks to the side of us. And it's telling us the sky's going to be heavily overcast, low mid clouds. The dark, moody backdrop, and potentially foggy and hazy. And so the standout opportunity here is between 4 to 5 p.m. with the sun out the back and the rain moving towards the side of us. And now we can verify all this because we've still got all these tools to go at. So one thing that I do every time, just to sanity check both myself and the tool's never been wrong. The tool's pretty accurate. But just to sanity check things is I'll turn on the shadows tool. And one thing I want to make sure of is if we go too late in the day, the sun is setting behind the mountain range. And so we're just going to run out of light on our foreground. So we need to be shooting at latest 40 minutes past 5, 20 to 6 to have sun on the foreground element of our shot. If we go much later, we've got till 6-ish, 5 past 6 to keep the sun on the foreground. But then we've lost all of the light on the lake in front of us. So we probably want to shoot, probably 5-ish. So we've got at least one side of the frame, one lot of the mountain range in light and the peaks in getting light on this side of the shot. So yeah, this is saying from 3 p.m. onwards, which is accurate to my forecasting here. And that is it. That is the Shotcast tool. The cool thing about this is you can press this button and it'll give you directions to get to this location. So you could plop this location, plonk it down, whatever you like, and it's going to give you directions to get there. And then what I always do is click this button here and it sends this forecast and all these details to my email address. So when I'm out, I can then open my phone, look at the forecast, just double check and not have to make notes basically as to when I should be in the place that I want to be shooting from. And this works no matter where you are in the world. So if I go back to scouting, let's say we are, I don't even know, somewhere in Italy. We're down here somewhere. You're going to see when it loads in a second, well, that was randomly a mountain range, which is fantastic. You can see all these locations. And if I just save it and I go to forecast, we've now got mapping for this specific location. And again, the shadows tool, the horizon tool, the sunpath tool, the Shotcast tool, and then the general shot for that location all works. And so we've got all this global data to run with. So bad weather, it's not a reason to stay at home. It's a reason to grab your gear, get your bum off the sofa and get out the door. But if you struggle with editing your landscape photos once you've captured them, check out this video where I run through a simple step-by-step editing process that anyone can follow that delivers stunning professional level results.